Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Bernadette if this is your first time on my channel, and I basically do videos on medicine, motivation and general lifestyle. So this video today is going to be about funding medical school as a second degree student or as a graduate. So if you do want to find out more about that, then just keep on watching. So funding medical school as a second degree is one of the most common questions I get. You know, how do you fund medical school? Do I choose a graduate entry or an undergrad entry? You know, there's just various questions. So there's going to be a lot of information in this video. So do grab a pen and paper. Just pause the video and grab a pen and paper so that you have all the information written down and you don't lose it. So the first thing we're going to do is basically try to digest the difference between an undergraduate and a graduate entry. So an undergraduate entry is a 5-year degree where you go in with other undergrads, that's school leavers that have never been to university before. And the thing about the 5-year degree is you have to fund it by yourself. The first 4 years has to be self-funded, while the final year is funded by the NHS. However, for the four-year degree, it is a graduate entry degree, so it's basically only graduate. So that's PhD student, master's student, student without a science background. Everyone is in it. And the thing about that is basically in your first year you have to partly fund it, and then the other half is funded by the NHS. However, from years 2 to year 4 it can be fully funded by partly funded by NHS and your student finance. So just to recap, so in your first year you're funding it partly and in the NHS, but in years 2 to 4 it's by the NHS and student finance, or student finance England or student Scotland, whichever way. You also have to think as well based on where you're based. So if you're a student from England, Wales or Northern Ireland and you go to uni there, your fees will be about £9,250, I think it is. When I did go in, it was about £9,000, but I think it is now £9,250. If you are from Scotland and you go to uni in Scotland, it's £1,820. So obviously it's a lot cheaper to go to uni in Scotland if you are from Scotland, and it does sound like it's a lot cheaper to do the 4-year degree. However, with the 4-year degree, it's very competitive because there's a lot of students from all walks of life coming into that, as well as there is a lot of more requirements compared to the undergraduate entry. So now that you know the difference between the two, we're going to talk about how you can self-fund it, or how you could fund it yourself without getting money from the government. The first way, obviously, which is what applies for me, is having parents or family to fund it, either that being it's fully funded or partially funded. So they pay some amount of it for you and then you could add bits and bobs into it. So I'm lucky enough that I can have my parents to pay that for me, and I honestly feel so blessed, because then it just takes a lot of weight off my shoulders basically. But there are definitely other ways. I mean, it's extensive and it does seem very unachievable, but it's very much doable. So that's the first thing. So partly funded or fully funded by family or friends. The second way is to have it self-funded. Now under self-funding, there's 3 other subsections under that we're going to talk about. So the first one is if you've had a career before deciding to study medicine, say you've done a degree and then you started working in that, whether that be in biomedical sciences, pharmacy, whatever it is, and you started working into it, chances are that you are getting a good pay and you're able to save up some money towards the degree. So you could pick up some extra shifts, work extra more, I guess, and save more money. You could also defer your entry. So if you get a place to study medicine, you could defer the entry and then just work for the year fully, just trying to save money to start medical school. And one thing I would like to stress is to say that just focus on 1 year at a time. I know it's very easy to feel very bogged down about the 4 years, but focus on 1 year at a time and everything kind of falls into place, hopefully. I forgot to mention, you do get maintenance loan, although you don't get tuition fees, so you don't get your £9,250 paid. You do get maintenance loan for your accommodation, your living costs, whatever that may be. So I think somehow you budget in that. The second way is to in terms of like banks taking loans. So you could speak to your bank. A lot of banks offer like loans, they offer credit cards, they offer what else do they offer? Loans, credit cards, and overdraft. Obviously this all depends on like your credit score and like your ability that they think that you're going to be able to pay the money back. So you could speak to your bank about that to just get some sum of money in terms to pay your tuition fees. In terms of the loans you can get, you could either get a personal loan or guarantor loan. So personal loan, you take it out on your ones basically, while guarantor loan, you have someone that signs that if you're unable to pay this money, they can pay it for you, hopefully. Then there is also something called Future Finance. They're a company that basically loan money to students or prospective student. They have lower rates compared to like payday loans, which I would not suggest anyone to do, and they allow you to pay it over a 5-year period, so 1 to 5 years, which is perfect in terms of like medical school. You could also get, I think it's from £2,000 to £40,000, I think it is. So there is like a wide range of amount of money you can get, but do just check it. I'll put the name down so you can check it, cross check. Future Finance basically gives money or loans money based not just on your credit score but also your potential earning. So if you are going to do a degree in medicine, you are at some point later on in the future, not the immediate future, you're gonna get some substantial amount of salary. So they look at that as well and then see that okay, you're gonna earn some good amount of money, and then they are able to give you a loan. Third thing as well to mention is that if you are over 25, student finance does give you a very high amount of maintenance loan. So if you're over 25, your parents income is not looked at in terms of like, they don't give you, it's not means tested because of your parents' income. So basically if you're over 25 and you potentially have no income, because when you be studying in your first year, you wouldn't really be working as a full-time employee. So basically you are able to get like the maximum amount of loan, which is about, I think, under £9,000 or just £9,000, which could potentially cover your tuition fees. And you just have to find a way of part-time jobs from summer to, in terms of like, to fund you in your accommodation, your fees, eating, living costs, and things like that. So that's basically self-funded. The third one I wanted to mention is external, and when I say external, it means whether that be in scholarship, awards, prizes, which can be awarded to you from like a previous degree. So some universities offer prizes of money. If you get a certain grade, or if you win, you get a certain percentage compared to the whole year. So that's something to look out for. Another thing is that in your university as well, they will, whatever university you're applying to, they do offer scholarships as well, scholarship and bursaries for students coming in. The thing about these, that a lot of them are quite hard to get because a lot of people are applying for it, and it's not a really high amount of money they do pay, but I guess little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. If you're able to apply to that and then get that, and then apply to other ones and you're able to get that as well, you could get a substantial amount of money. Another way you could get money is from charities. There are two or three charities I'm going to mention that you could apply to for money. There are a lot more of them, but you have to really look at their criteria and things that they request for before you apply for it, because it probably is just a waste of time. There is a lot of people again applying for that, so you just have to make sure that you meet all the requirements. So the first one is Sir Richard Stapley Educational Trust, which basically gives money to over 24-year-olds that wants to do another degree. So I think the deadline for the 2018-2019 application is on the 3rd of January next year, so 2019. If you do want to have a look out for that, just have a look. The next one as well is the BMA, so the British Medical Association. They basically also give bursaries for students, but this is from your second year onwards. It's just open to students that are already in medical school, and I think a lot of these charities as well, because I had to cut down on the different ones I was researching about. they basically mostly only give to from second year onwards student, because they want to make sure that you're in it for in it, not that you go in first year and possibly you're unable to go through the length of medical school when they could give it to someone else, kind of thing. At least that's what I think it is. So yeah, that's open to second year students or second year onward. The final one is the Royal Medical Benevolence Fund. Benevolent, I think that's how you say it. They give money to students in financial hardships. So if you find yourself in a very difficult situation where you can't fund medical school, then that's another charity to look out for and to apply to. I'm going to put all the names of this different places I've mentioned so that you guys can have a look. Like I mentioned earlier, I know it seems very daunting and like just impossible, because I remember I was in that position as well before I got into medical school. I was thinking about the fact that I would have to fund £9,000 a year, but somehow I was blessed enough that my parents are able to fund it. So like I said, take 1 year at a time. Don't think of the 4 years all at once. And look at me. I mean, I was there panicking, but I'm now in third year and somehow I've been able to, or my parents have been able to fund it. So that's one thing. Don't stress about it. Just apply and then see how it goes. So just research, do a lot of researching as well. And the second thing is also, if you're Christian, pray about it. It's amazing what God can do. Honestly, I believe in that. There was this girl that's telling me a story. I don't know whether she was telling me or I watched it. I can't really remember. How like she basically couldn't fund medical school as a second degree. Somehow she went there to pay like half of it, went to the tuition because that's what she could pay, and she was able to meet someone that they basically funded her entire time in medical school. Isn't that just so amazing? So that's something to also do. Pray about it, because I believe honestly there's miracles out there. So I hope you guys have been able to find this video helpful. I mean, I've tried to mention and identify all the different ways that I am aware of that you could fund medical school as a second degree. If anyone has any other ideas, so if you're also a medical student studying medicine as a second degree and you have other ideas, please do leave it in the comment section below so people are aware of it as well, what I haven't touched on. If you do have any questions for me, please leave it in the comment section below and I'll try my best to answer it as soon as possible. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please do give it a thumbs up so I know that this kind of videos are helpful basically. If you've connected with me somehow, enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos, please do subscribe. Please do subscribe. The subscription, I can never say that word. The subscription button is below, and do click on the notification box so you don't miss any videos from me. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and please, like I mentioned, please don't be too bugged out about it. Things all work out in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.